Just wanted to start off by saying, B'derech Nes, that every time I give out all the koil checks, I expect the bank account to go down. With Lamaisa, B'derech Nes, somehow money comes in, and it's always the same. So I can take more people. It's always Derech Nes.
What's the story? What happened?
There's no stories. It's just Derech Nes. The money comes in. All of a sudden, what's a bank account? The bank account is just a number on a computer screen, right? So it goes a little lower, goes a little higher. Okay. Anyways, I wanted to first. We're now standing post Shavuos, and we all, enjoyed Shavuos. So Lamaisa, what are we taking out of Shavuos? So of course, Pashas Naso comes right after. But what are we taking out? So I was sitting by a Mesiba like everybody else, right? Neilas HaChag. And what do you do by Neilas HaChag? So first they serve a little bit food, and then they sing or dance, and then there's a drasha. So I was thinking that if you think about it, as you know, we're all coming from different pchinas. So food is keneged pchinas nefesh, right? And the music and the singing is pchinas ruach. And the torah is about this pchinas neshama. So Mekayim, all the pchinas in the Neilas HaChag. I saw Rabbi Yerucham tonight by a vart. I told him this vart. I went by a different vart, but I told him the vart, and he was masking to it. So, but the other thing which I really wanted to add is not so much that you had a party in Geganga Vaita. The Ikke is what the Roshim that you take from it. And we all know that Rebbeinu Shalom created the world, B'Rishimu, right? He made a Mokum Cholol, right? And then everything went into Yena Mokum Cholol, and he left, and Geblib ben Rishimu. And that Roshim that was left over, that stays with us La'olam. And you see, a Roshim in general stays La'olam. So the Chag HaShavuos was this Matan Torah, so that has to stay with us La'olam. And what's a Raya? I'm reading a Raya from the Arizal, which I learned recently. I'm going to read you the Lashon. If you want to know from where it is, it's in Shar HaMalachim, Perek Aleph, and I'm just quoting you. It says, Ki kol davar tachtoin, yesh boi koyach elyon behechrech hamispashut boi. And he says it's Benegeya Atik, which is Pchinas Nitzchi. So you see that the Tachtoin, which is Makabel de Roshim from a Makam Elyon, never ever goes away because it's coming from Atik, and Atik is Nitzchi. So therefore, you go away from a Yontif, and whatever Roshim you took out of Yena Yontif, or a Makam Kadosh, or whatever it is, the Roshim has to stay with you. So that's why when people make an Neilas HaChag, it's pshat that they want to make a Roshim, and your pnimius, that the Roshim should stay with you for a ganz year. It's just like normally you come out of a Yontiv, there's shtickle depression, right? The Yontiv was here, you got the Neshama Yisera, and everything else, and went away, and the cheesecake is the only thing that stayed with you, the calories and the weight, and everything else left. All the pseilas stayed, and all the good stuff left. So if I cared, you have to make the Ruchnius should stay, and the diet we won't discuss. Okay, also Nachazach, that we know that what happened on Shavuos, I'm coming to Pashas Naso. What happened on Shavuos was that we had a yichud of Kutchabrichu, Vayraisa, and Klal Yisrael is Chadhu. So I wanted to say a shtickle extra that there's a yichud of all three. They come together and they create one. That's Taich a yichud, right? You have a yichud. What happens with a yichud? One is a chesaron, one has a maila, just as a mashal. You have a harim and gvais. I mentioned at a different time. You have a har, right, which is too high, and you have a valley, which is too low. And you put the har in the valley, and then it evens it out. Similar, Zachar Nekeva, right? The Nekeva is a chesaron, is a nekev, and the Zachar is mamala the nekev, and therefore you have a shefa that comes from it. By Matan Torah, so we had these things coming together as one. In other words, you cannot have Klal Yisrael without the Torah. We can't have a Kutchabrichu without Klal Yisrael and the Torah. He would not have created the world. So it has to be as one. It's not pshat that we normally, if you want to talk about making yichudim, right? So you have a yichud of havaya adnos, or whatever it is that the yichud is, but it's a temporary yichud. We need what's called a permanent yichud. Similar, as we learn always, the Abba ve'imas train rei in the Laimis Parshin, they're never separated. That's we need a yichud tmidi. Where do you see that in the Bria? That there's a yichud tmidi in one thing? You see that by Eitzim. That in a tree, there's a zachar and a nekeva built into a tree. How does a tree produce fruit? When it starts off, you have a seed, you put it in the ground, and it grows a tree. But in the tree itself is zachar and nekeva. And Mehai Taima, since you're showing that stays la'olam like that, is a little bit evsha atam, why we bring asavim into shul and shvuas to be merames, that there's also a yichud tmidi, that the Zocha Nekeva, the Torah, Yisrael, Kodshebrichu, is Chadhu, becoming as one.
Who says this?
Me. You don't have to like it. I saw it in the Sefer, actually. But the name of the Sefer is Peres Yonah. Okay. But to take it maybe another step further, so the minute changed, and now people bring flowers, they don't bring trees. The Goyim said it's Chukas HaGoyim, so they bring in flowers. I was thinking, Ulay Efshe, that the word flower is perach. No, I'm not talking about Rapach Nitzaitzim. I'm talking about perach. Perach means to blossom. So just like in Torah, the purpose of Limud HaTorah is to create a Ben Torah. The Ben Torah should blossom into whatever madrega he could reach. So bringing prachim into the base medrash is also a siman that a person should go up in madregas. But you see also that these are three things that came together: Yisrael, Kodshebrichu, Araisa, Chadu. See it in another place. We see on Shabbos, Ata Echad, Shimcha Echad, Mika'amcha Yisrael, Goy Echad. Right? All three together is Gematria 39, right? 39 is the Tal HaElyon, right? Which is the Tal HaChiyus. That's what we live from this Tal HaElyon of the three Echads. We see also, we know that the Rabban Shalom, when he created the world Gimel Kavim, right? Yemin, Smile, Emtza, call it Chesed, Din, Rachmim. There's always three, right? Now you see in this week's Parsha also, that in Pashas Naso there is three separate parshas, and each one is a madrega of kedusha, and each one is negeah to the kehanim, and the shirish of it is coming from the Kesach Chochmah Bina, which is also the Gimel Kavim. How does that work out? So, first one is Saita. Who's the one who administers the Ma'im HaMa'arurim and takes care of the whole thing? It's not the Dayan, it's not the Talmud Chacham, but it's the Kayan. The second one is the Nazir, right? Who could get the Nazir out of his Nazirus when he brings the carbon? It's the Kayan. And the third one, of course, is Birkas Kayanim. These are all Parshas and Pashas Naso. Right? So, and each one, it says by them, Kadosh. I don't remember exactly Shani's Pasuk, but by every single one it says Kadosh. So, you see there's three Kedushas. Where do the three Kedushas come from? In Birkas Kayanim, there are three times that it says Shem Havaya. Right? So, the three times Havaya is Merames from Kesach Chochmah Bina, right? And it's also Merames from Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, which represents the lower three Kavim. And we learn out from these Gimel Havayas, which are in Birkas Kayanim, the shirish of those Gimel Havayas is the Bria itself. Like we said, the Kesach Chochmah Bina, there's Gimel Havayas, and those Gimel Havayas translate into, in Isius, there's 12 Isius in the three Havayas, which is 4 Isius per Havaya, right? Ema Kailel makes it Yud Gimel, which is Yud Gimel Midas Harachamim, and without Yud Gimel Midas Harachamim, we would not survive. It's the shirish of the entire Bria, right? And also, everything that we have, the Yud Gimel Midas Harachamim, and everything else is totally in these Gimel Kedushos. And it starts off Nasa Yisrael, B'nai Yisrael, the way we carry the whole Klal Yisrael. The head of Klal Yisrael is all totally in these Gimel Havayis, which is merumas many times in the Parsha itself. Another thing you see here, that in the Pashas Saita, so the Torah is the first time you see that the Torah itself taught us that everything is Torah Emes. That you see in the Pashas Saita that the Kohen gives the Isha Mayim Hama'ararim, and that's how the truth comes out. So you could see in the beginning of the Bria also, you see how Torah Emes only works out that way. I said this over a few times, but I'm just putting it together to show that the Mayim Hama'ararim, that the Torah requires Emes La'amita. The Torah, the Aleph Bey starts off, it's a Altavart, not saying any Chidush now, but those who didn't hear it, it wows them. And those who heard it already, it's a good reminder. The Torah starts off with a base, right? So if you take starting from base and you go 3, why 3? We spoke about Gimel Kedushos, Gimel Havayis, everything is 3, is Gimel Kavim, that's the way the world works. So if you take the first 3 letters, base, Gimel, Dalet, so if you take all 3 together, Beis and Gimel is 5, plus the Dalet is 4, is 9, and we know Chai Samai Shal HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Emes, and you take the word Emes and Mispar Katan, which is Aleph is 1, Mem is 4, Taf is 4, is together 9. So without going into the 9 drasha, which that everybody knows already, and no matter how many times you multiply 9, it'll come back to 9, right? So if you take the Beis Gimel Dalet, it comes up to 9, which is Emes. If you start from Aleph, the Torah start from Aleph, which is Aleph Beis Gimel, would be Aleph is 1, Beis is 3, 1 and 2 is 3, plus Gimel is 6, Sheker and Mispar Katan is 3, 1 and 2, so it comes out to 6. And if you go through the entire Aleph base, starting from Aleph will come out every single time, will come out to 6. Just as a mashal, Aleph Beis Gimel we just said. So now you go Dalet Hey Vav. How much is Dalet and Hey? Is 9. Plus the Vav is 15. How much is 1 and 5? Is 6. Is Meram is Sheker. And if you go the other way, starting from Beis Gimel Dalet, right? Now you go Hey Vav Zayin. Hey and Vav is 11. Plus 8 is, not plus 8, plus 7, right? Is 18. 8 and 1 is 9. Meram is Emes. So just showing you, again, the Torah requires everything should be 100% La'amita Shal Torah. And on that note, we should all have a gebench to Shabbos.